a couple attending an event hosted by Representative Matt Gaetz and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, talking about, of course, the big lie, the voter fraud and all that stuff, recently spoke to CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan about why they still believe in what is known as the big lie. The idea, the conspiracy theory that the 2020 presidential election has been stolen from President Donald Trump. Let's take a look.
You guys both genuinely believe the election was stolen.
Yes.
I mean, that's, if you believe that that's true,
Isn't that horrible?
yeah.
Yeah,
I know it
that
is.
horrible.
Is it horrible that we would even be in the situation to even think that?
But it's false.
No, it is not. Why would they have all those ballots hidden under tables? Why did that man drive that truck all the way across state lines
But wasn't like
with ballots?
the ballots under table thing with Giuliani and Georgia, that's all been proven to be false,
It
no?
has not. I
No.
watched it on TV.
I watched it on TV, says the generation that told us not to believe the things that we saw on TV. And by the way, even if it had been true, like, that's still not enough ballots to swing an election. Whew. But anyway, right now, you'll be shocked to know that there is absolutely no obligation for anyone on TV, or for example, since we live in the new generation, YouTube and social media and Facebook, to actually tell the truth to people. No obligation whatsoever. You can literally tell people anything. And in some cases, they will give you money for telling them sweet little lies. I know, it's weird. And so, yes, they can straight up lie to you. And that's what we see on Fox News and on Newsmax and in conservative media. They simply straight up lie to you about this election because they make a lot of money from duping people into believing in nonsense conspiracy theories. No, they were not hiding ballots under tables. They weren't stuffing ballots into suitcases. And by the way, if they were in suitcases, how do you know that they're ballots? Or driving them around in trucks and delivering. No, they're not discarding them. Come on. There's no evidence of that. Here's what happened. And I know it's tough for you to listen to. Okay. But it turns out that Donald Trump was a deeply unpopular president, and he lost because he managed to get about 500,000 Americans dead as a result of a once-in-a-generation virus. It's kind of amazing, really. You had this meteoric rise of Donald Trump. His entire entrance into power was absolutely unprecedented, lightning in a bottle. Nobody could believe that it happened, beating the most entrenched political force in the nation's history, the Clintons. And then he managed to go out essentially the same way he came in, with a series of epic unforeseen circumstances and gigantic bungles. And so only this time, there's Trump's bungles, which, by the way, he did all the time in 2016. But, it again, clownish. Oh, look at this clown. Look at me give you millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars in free media. Here you go, Donald Trump. Beat the most entrenched establishment political force this country's ever seen. Go ahead. Here's the ways of you being able to actually do that. And so, but this time, his bungles being in power, too much. So now, that's not to say that Joe Biden didn't have his bungles or his gaffes, but they paled in comparison to Donald Trump, especially with when you actually consider the effects of Donald Trump's rule, which is the complete and utter bungling of the coronavirus pandemic, the disastrous handling of that. And that's ultimately why he lost, by the way. People got tired of the sideshow and actually wanted some real solutions. They didn't want to get told to go out and sacrifice grandma for the stonks, or to inject the stuff to disinfect it into their veins. Okay, what they wanted to do is they wanted a functional adult in office, in charge, and not a reality TV show clown show. And the problem is that these people, they want the circus to continue. And that's what this entire discussion about widespread voter fraud is actually about. It is a clown show. the fact is, all the states already certified their election results. And by the way, the same states have never been shy. And this is kind of show you like how important certification is. They haven't been shy at redoing local elections if there were credible allegations of voter fraud. Let me give you a couple of examples. You have North Carolina. In North Carolina, state officials in 2018 they refused to certify the results of one of the state's 13 congressional races due to suspicious mail-in voting numbers for the Republican candidate Mark Harris. After days of hearings held by state election officials, a new election was ordered, and a Bladen County official, not official, but a political operative who worked for the Harris campaign, McCrae Dowless, was charged with numerous election-related crimes. Now, the case made national news because it turns out this type of election fraud is very rare. Why is it so rare? For one, not a lot of people do it. Two, the system works. The system catches people and elected officials that do fraud. Weird. Turns out we have already set up an incredibly successful system at stopping election fraud and voter fraud too. Great. Mission accomplished, Republicans. Great. We got it. Nailed it. Now, let's go to another state and talk about mail-in fraud. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing about North Carolina, actually. The state of North Carolina also conducted a wide-reaching audit of voter fraud allegations after the 2016 elections. The audit found 2 cases of voter impersonation. 2 cases. Out of how many ballots? 4.8 million. 508 total ballots might have been ineligible as well for various other reasons. So, in total, you have 510 questionable ballots. 2 in-person cases of voter impersonation out of 4.8 million. Not very much. Let's go to another state. We'll talk about mail-in ballots, because that's the big thing too. Mail-ins. You can't trust the mail-in. You can't trust the absentee. You can't trust anything that comes through the mail because, the deep state. Okay. Well, let's look at one state that has done all mail voting. And I'm not just talking absentee, but I'm talking mail-in ballots as well. From 2000 to 2019, Oregon officials convicted about 38 people for voter fraud when it comes to mail. In the same time, voters there cast nearly 61 million ballots. The fraud rate is 0.00006%, according to a 2020 report from the state legislature. And it ain't just Oregon. Nationwide, whether by mail or in person, voter fraud is incredibly rare. A handful of people out of tens of millions of ballots. If there was something there, they'd have found it. You know why? Because Republicans desperately want to. They want to find it. And not only that, but it's not just Republicans that want to find voter fraud and election fraud. Everybody wants to find it and root it out. Nobody likes cheaters. Cheaters don't prosper. We want free and fair elections. Turns out the American people like democracy. And when you try to stop people from doing a democracy, well, then people get a little upset. And I'm fine with audits. I'm fine with recounts if they make sense. Not 7 months after an election that has already been certified, where just about every legal challenge has been thrown out for lack of evidence, which is the main thing that they seem to be missing. But hey, the TV told me there was voter fraud, so I guess the TV's always right. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/ Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.